Dear friends, welcome back to Reflections with Randeep. Before I begin this episode, I want to inform you all that I am opening up my channel for your comments. Good, bad, or ugly, or positive, or negative, or whatever other adjectives you guys want to use, do comment. In episode 11, I had dealt with the equation between cops and common people. In this episode, I will try to look deeper into the manner in which our police force functions in today's social and political ecosystem. The police have let us down. There were times when the sub-inspector did not respond to our calls. This could have been prevented. This quote from an Indian Express report dated 22 July on the killing of a Ghaziabad-based journalist, Vikram Joshi, echoes grievances of victims of assorted crimes across the country. This is not the only one, others are also there. The local police could have prevented this murder. There were enough indications of the intentions of Vikram's killers. He was threatened many times. But when have our police actually prevented a crime that targets common people anywhere in the country? Except, of course, on such TV shows as Crime Patrol. There the police are the heroes. I wish they were everywhere. This is not a solitary case. This Vikram Joshi case is not a solitary case. There are many. Let me cite one more. A mother-daughter duo from Amethi had to immolate themselves in front of the CM's residence in Lucknow. The reasons were familiar. Harried by powerful land mafia and ignored by the police, the distraught women approached the local police station for help on several occasions. The police failed to protect them, which resulted in this tragedy. Abductions for ransom, blind murders, and mob violence have become so routine that one really wonders whether the situation would ever improve. If nothing else, these crimes regularly expose bad governance and lack of professionalism in our police force. At the other end of the geographical and social spectra, the law enforcing agencies in Kerala and Manipur have displayed all the ills prevalent as elsewhere in India. So there is no such thing like only one part of India is having such drawbacks or ills in the police force. They are everywhere and throughout the country, bar none. If there are any exceptions, I would like to know about them. The Kerala case hit the headlines on July 5 when customs officials at the Thiruvananthapuram airport seized 30 kg of gold, which was part of a diplomatic package addressed to a West Asian country's consulate. So, FIRs were promptly lodged and investigations launched. So far, so good. And you expect that to happen, don't you? On July 9, the Union Home Ministry asked the National Investigation Agency, or NIA as we popularly know it, to probe the case, citing serious implications for national security. This is a very powerful argument. Whenever the center or any other government, state government wants to step in and take action, right or wrong, that is not the point. The list of accused in the Kerala gold smuggling case comprises the following. One is Swapna Suresh, who used to work in the UAE consulate. She allegedly had contacts in Kerala's corridors of power. M. Shiv Shankar was Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan's principal secretary and headed the IT department, which hired Swapna Suresh. At one time, they had hired. This is there in the police records or in the investigations. It has come up. P.S. Sarit is a former PRO at the UAE consulate. He, along with Swapna Suresh, is the prime accused. Sandeep Nair, another accused, was arrested along with Swapna Suresh from Bengaluru. Fazil Farid, a Malayali based in the UAE, is also a key suspect in this case. So at least 5 are there. It is not clear whether the state police has had any role in the investigations, but the two central government agencies, the Customs and the National Investigation Agency, are handling this case. The accused have been either booked or nabbed, but the prompt politicization of the issue is a tad worrisome. Both the Congress and the BJP are baying for Chief Minister Vijayan's blood. We should not be surprised over that. Politics is politics. Clearly, reasons are not altruistic or even patriotic. These things are only used to score political points against your opponents. Vijayan heads the left Democratic Front government, which is an eyesore for BJP as well as the Congress. In stark contrast, the Manipur case, which predates the Kerala case by 2 years, could never stir up patriotic impulses in the BJP, which rules Manipur as a dominant coalition partner. Naturally, the electronic media almost ignored the case, because when BJP is not interested, why should the media be interested? And that is the trend nowadays in our news outlets, the so-called news outlets. The print media also pursued it rather half-heartedly. If gold smuggling was involved in Kerala, drugs were the highlight of the crime in Manipur. Ojam Brinda, that's the lady police officer. She is the assistant superintendent of police. She was at that time the assistant superintendent of police and head of the narcotics and affairs of border, or NAB. She had led a team of investigators on June 19, 2018 to bust a drug smuggling syndicate. The team seized about 4.6 kg of heroin, 280,000 narcotic tablets, which in the drug world are known as "world is yours." I don't know what it means. And more than rupees 57 lakh in cash. In addition, there were rupees 95,000 in old currency notes. Mark you, old currency notes. When everybody in India, the government and their supporters and their spin doctors have been telling us that there's not a rupee of old currency floating in the market, and everything has been mopped up. Anyway, rupees 95,000 in old currency notes, and there were other incriminating articles that has not been listed, at least not in media. She also arrested the notorious drug lord of Manipur, Lu Khosai along with his 7 henchmen. Lu Khosai So he is politically very well connected. Soon after the seizure, the ASP, who is not only was at that time, even now, she is much respected and decorated for her uprightness and professional integrity. But she started facing the rage of the establishment. Phone calls, veiled and direct threats became intense as her resistance to the blandishment increased. She refused to succumb to whatever she was being offered. Zhou repeatedly asked her to come to a compromise and settle the issue, but she refused. Now she is facing contempt proceedings in a court of law. Why? Because she wrote something on her Facebook timeline which the powers that we did not like. Anyway, that is something for the court to decide, and we should not go into that. As you can see, the political establishment decides what involves national security and what is a mere benign crime. Manipur, in the highly sensitive northeast region, shares international borders with Myanmar, which is more or less China's client state. We got to understand this aspect. The border with Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, and Burma is now a client state of China. China has a huge presence in Burma or Myanmar. Any crime syndicate in Manipur is likely to pose a far more serious threat to our national security than in Kerala. Kerala is down south at the corner. There is a sea on the one side and the other states are all Indian states. It doesn't have any international borders and it is not known for terrorism or any kind of infiltration by any of our enemies, China or Pakistan or whatever. Anyway, both these crimes, the gold smuggling and the drug peddling or drug smuggling, are equally serious. That nobody can say otherwise or gainsay. Then how is it that there is conspicuous silence over the Manipur Drug Lord case? We all want to know this. When the self-proclaimed party of patriots, BJP, rules the state and it also rules the center. I mean, it's there. And well, if BJP is not patriotic, then nobody can be patriotic. That you got to concede. They are super patriots. While the electronic media has been flashing Swapna's images several times a day, every day, and doing its damnedest to link CM Vijayan to the case, there is no mention or celebration of ASP Thona Ojam Brinda's dedication to her profession and the country. I wonder whether the supremely patriotic Northeasterner, we have got one, he is the ultimate in patriotism, Arnab Goswami, has even heard her name. I wonder whether he has heard her name. I'll be surprised if he has, because anything that does not fascinate him or irritate him, he perhaps deleted that lady's name from his memory bank. He must have done it. She is of no use to him for generating TRPs. That's all he is interested in. So, let us return to Uttar Pradesh. It it is right now the crime center of India. There was Bombay earlier or Mumbai. Now it is Uttar Pradesh. When a citizen goes to a police station to file a complaint, the least one expects is prompt action for apprehending the criminals or at least checking out the complaint, whether it is genuine or not. This apparently did not happen in Vikram's case, who had to pay with his life for the police officer's sheer lack of professionalism. Worse, policemen often collaborate with criminals. This we have seen so many times. But the most recent case is the Vikas Dubey case. It's there, all that murky stuff. It has been revealed how there was an insider who was tipping off Vikas Dubey. Anyway, UP is ruled by Yogi Adityanath. The state is a perennial headache. Not because Yogi Adityanath is its chief minister, it was always like that. Notorious for gangsters and encounters, it could never be tamed by any government before Yogi Adityanath. VP Singh was arguably the first chief minister to resort to brazen encounter killings to get rid of Gunda Raj, but failed miserably. Yogi Adityanath seems to be heading for similar results. I mean, you can keep on killing these chaps, but that does not seem to be the solution. It is being proven right in front of us. Crimes in UP are not abating anytime soon. Criminals like the mythical demon Raktbij in Hindu mythology spring back stronger and in larger numbers after every government onslaught on them. They just multiply. It's really a surprise how this happens, but it is there, and there are many reasons for it. However, among those many reasons, one is the political patronage that is given to these gangs and gangsters. Not just in UP, but other states too. I mean, let us not single out any one state. This is happening in Bihar, this is happening in other states. In say, even Mumbai, it is even now, whatever gangsters are there. And there were reports long back of gangsters cropping up in Haryana and Punjab. Anyway, this becomes clear when we see politicians jumping into the fray. I'm talking about the political patronage. Every time the police take action against a high-profile criminal, as happened in Manipur Drug Lord case I'm talking about. The intent is to scuttle the case and allow the criminal to get away. This criminal may be a murderer, rapist, smuggler, or a white-collar group. White-collar groups go abroad. They don't do any chota-mota killings or chota-mota crimes. They go for billions. They just rob and go. And they are the privileged criminals of our society. Anyway, but it is not just criminals who get political patronage. That is there. But there are malcontents in the police force also. There is a legion of policemen and women who get away with anything because their political masters are by their side. During the Shaheen Bagh protests and police action on the students of Jamia Millia Islamia University campus, one watched in horror as goons attacked the unarmed, peaceful citizens, while police looked the other way. If Kapil Baisala, also known as Gujjar, became an ugly face of police-backed Gundaism in Shaheen Bagh. There were any number of goons who were armed and doing much worse in the JMI campus. Several videos show men in jeans raining lathi blows on students. One particular video which I remember, I saw it on one of the channels. It showed a bunch of girl students protecting a their male friend, while goons attacked them with lathis under the policeman's languid watch. Policeman just watched. As if this was not enough, the police raided the campus to catch troublemakers. And who are these troublemakers? We are yet to know. They wrecked the library, the policemen, and severely beat up students who were peacefully studying there, and then randomly arrested some persons, they were whoever they were. Clearly, this was not a professional police force in action, but henchmen in khaki doing the hatchet job for their political masters. Whether you replace the present police setup with commissariat or any other structure, it is not going to make any difference to the image of the police unless there is transformation in their attitude and working style. The cop in common perception is as much to be avoided as the goon, and this is rather unfortunate because the cop's presence should reassure the citizens, that their life, limbs, property and dignity will be protected. Frankly, the police need the people's confidence in their abilities and intentions as protectors and lawkeepers so that they can discharge their duties efficiently. People can be the best allies of the police as far as fighting crime is concerned. This can happen, but yes, this is a big but this can happen only if the police force comprises personnel with professional integrity. The police should never allow themselves to be used as the politician's strong arm. We should not even have a whiff of that kind of nexus between the politician and the police. They are and should behave like the law's protective shield. There is a dire need to liberate the police force from the deadly clutches of our politicians. There is no doubt about it. The sooner it is done, the better for the country. This country needs cohesiveness, this country needs the rule of the law, this country needs unity among people, and only a highly professional police force can be one of the most potent factors in bringing this about. It is possible only if the police does not do the dirty work of the politicians. But will such a day ever dawn on India? That is Bharat. Your guess is as good as mine. So friends, today's episode is over. I'll come back with another episode. I hope you have liked it. Bye.